to the cloud. Okay, so if you're watching this recording, anything that I'm saying tonight, hold on, let me turn that off. Okay, anything that I'm saying tonight needs to be reviewed with your financial advisor and or tax accountant. So these are guidelines for what you need to do at the end of the year, but you do need to consult a tax accountant to do your taxes. However, sometimes it's simple enough that you actually don't have to do an accountant, but if you have questions, you do need to ask your tax accountant. So first of all, on InTouch, I want you guys to just be aware that on InTouch under, hold on a second, I'm having like two things logged in. Okay, under, where is it? Resources, the very bottom tab, or under Resources tab, the very bottom, it says tax information or tax. So there's something called your income advisory statement. And you can also get to that under just the reports. And that will have, hold on a second, let me go in it the right way. That's actually not where you find it. So under the tax information, there's a lot of tax info. Make sure you read that and look through that. And then under your reports, under business tools, there is something called income advisory statement. So if you go to reports or business tools, my business reports, okay? And then you go under the reports on the far right, it says monthly and historical is income advisory statement. Now you will get an income advisory statement for like mine right now, I have 2020, right? Because 2021 is not over yet. And on that income advisory statement, I'm just pulling mine up to look at it. What it will tell you is any commissions that you've earned, any prizes or awards. If you have a Mary Kay career card, it will give you how much compensation you've gotten that. And then it totals it up. So when you earn that BPIN, or you earn one of those sales cords of sharing or something, or a sale, they do tax you on your prizes. Or so if you have like any of the bigger Star Consultant prizes, all that, they do tax you on that. And then at the bottom of this, it also gives you what they call Section 1 wholesale. And so it will list Section 1 wholesale. It will, and I'll go through these, but it lists Section 1, it lists Section 2 wholesale, any expenses that you had, like your preferred customer program, or if you bought any Mary Kay clothing that is like a director or a red jacket. And then it also has your shipping and handling as well. So what that's telling, what that is giving you, let me just go through those again. Section 1 wholesale. So what Section 1 wholesale is, I'm just going to move this over because it helps me to look at you guys when I'm telling you this so I can see if you're getting it. Section 1 wholesale, those are all the products that you buy from Mary Kay that you can turn around and sell. So we don't sell what's called Section 2, like our sample items or our travel size, like we call it travel size makeup remover. Really, it's what they call Deluxe Mini. It is actually Section 2, like gift with purchase, something like that. You don't charge for the travel size products unless it's Section. So that's why it's not called travel size, it's called Deluxe Mini, because we do have travel size skincare sets of the repair and the time wise. And those you find them under Section 1. So Marcia, I know this isn't going to make any sense to you yet because we haven't done an order for you yet, but the order form is specified Section 1 and Section 2. So Section 2 are all your sales aids. Those are all your business expenses. Okay, so that's under your income advisory statement. And you can find that under the reports on the business tools. So you don't have to necessarily keep track of your inventory, but you can. Now, hold on, let me look at one thing. Okay. All right, so that report is important to have at the end of the year, okay? So what I want to go through is your income, your expenses, and your inventory. So let's start with inventory first, because that's the easiest and the hardest, it seems like sometimes. Okay, so inventory is any of the section 1 items that you bought from Mary Kay in the calendar year, January 1 through December 31st. Okay, so that report is going to give you that number at the end of the year. Prior to
Which report are you pulling again?
Okay. It is called the income advisory statement.
And where it is? I'm
It's
looking at the
under,
business tools, but I don't see any report things in there.
it's under business tools. Let me go to mine. And then if you go down to where it says my business,
Uh-huh.
and then go over and it says reports,
Okay.
click on that. And then you should have a screen that has like 5 different or 6 different columns on it.
Mm-hmm.
The far right one says monthly and historical.
Okay, yeah.
And then the 4th item
Income
down,
advisory, gotcha. Okay, now I see it. Mhm.
yeah, and you won't have anything in there yet because you just started this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it waits until, it will come out like, I think legally they have to have it out by the 30th or February 15th, something like that.
Okay.
Trying to see if there's a date on here. January 15th was when they did the one last time for me. So that will tell you everything you've purchased from the company. You can also go back and do a report and see what you did wholesale for the year too. Okay, so what you want to do though, at the end of December 31st or January 1st, it doesn't matter, whenever you're done making your sales for this year, which this year is not yet over, you want to go through your inventory at home and tally up the dollar value, retail and wholesale, right? They're the same number. But you're going to use the retail number when you're kind of calculating taxes, right? So for Marsha, you have products on hand. Those came in your starter kit. Those technically do not count as part of your inventory because they are a business expense, and they actually the starter consultant kit is considered a business expense. So Rochelle, same thing for you.
Say
Anna,
that starter kit's called the what?
it's a business expense.
Okay.
So that $100 or $150 is a business expense. So actually that inventory doesn't count in your inventory. So right now, Marsha, you would say, I don't have anything. But if we put your first order in, even if it doesn't arrive physically till after January 1st, it would still count for this year, which is not a bad thing because you would actually have a loss in your business, which is fine to have a loss. You'd be like, oh, I lost money my first year. Great. Now I have only places to go. It's up. And that's totally fine to declare a loss. And you wouldn't actually even really, if you're not making more than $600, you don't have to file. So,
Okay.
so you're going to take your inventory at the end of the year. So Anna, you have inventory. Rochelle, Katie, Annie, anyone else who's watching this probably has inventory on hand. You do not need to know how many different colors of eyeshadows you have. What I do for mine is I have a spreadsheet that I've created over the years. I could send it a blank one to you. I think you can probably somehow download that off of InTouch as well. But basically it has a list of all the products. And at the bottom, I have kind of our, limited edition items. And what I do is I write in there, I have 52 eyeshadows. Boop, and then it multiplies that by 8 in the spreadsheet. And then it says retail value, $325 in eyeshadows. And then I do mascaras, and then I do this, then I do that. Anything that's the same price value, right? I don't worry, like if I have hand lotion, if it's all $12 hand lotion, it's all the same hand lotion. I don't worry if it's fragrance free or white tea and citrus. It's just hand lotion. Okay. So then you have a list, and I just keep column by column each year. So I have 2,000 each year, right? So I can actually see too, I'm like, oh, I have this much left and I have this much left, you know, I can, if I want to, I can evaluate a little bit more. But my
Yeah.
inventory kind of shifts and rotates. It stays about the same dollar value, but it shifts and rotates where all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm like, I was telling Marcia today, I'm like, I have 2 makeup removers left. And I'm like, oh, that's scary to me. I'm like, oh, shoot, I better get my order in soon because it's not going to come till January. I probably won't have to get it out to somebody because of the snow, but somebody could order 2 makeup removers like that, right? And I'd be like, oh, crap. You know, and then I may be mailing a makeup remover for $4.95 instead of $3 to somebody, or it's my neighbor and dropping it off. So inventory, you want to keep track of what you have. Then what you're going to do is a simple, easy way to do your taxes is to use TurboTax or something, one of those softwares. It has, you own your own business, yada, 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 and it walks through how to use it. So you need to know your inventory at the start of the year and the end of the year. So for you guys that just started, your inventory at the start of the year was 0. Your inventory at the end of the year is whatever you have left. For Katie, that's even for Rochelle too, because you just started. For Annie and Katie, you guys should have in your file somewhere what your inventory was at the end of 2020, and then, right, and then you do your inventory now at the end of 2021. And you can see, you probably, again, will find you're very similar to where you were last year, or maybe a little higher, right? Because you're building up your inventory as you're going along with your business. So yeah, Rochelle.
Do you have to mark it somehow, like with a little sticker or something, so that next year you're counting only new products, or will that be part of, even if it's from this year, it'll be counted as next year's inventory?
Yeah, even if it's from this year, be counted as next year's inventory that you like. So say you have something that didn't sell, like you bought, I don't know, like I every so often I'll buy a lot of one thing and I'll still maybe have it left. Like I bought, like, because we didn't have them all the time, the eyelash curler. So I have like 6 eyelash curlers, but I don't sell them that often, but I might still have one of those left from this year, left next year, maybe. But if I talk about it more, I won't, I'll sell them, right? So that's a very good question. So what I do with my products, and my lovely Blanca taught me this, is I put a sticker on my product. Of course, these I took off because I stuck them in the mail, but none of these have a sticker on them. Oh, here we go. I buy from the Avery stickers from Office Depot. These little tiny stickers, they're white, and there's like 100 on a page. So they're little teeny tiny stickers. They come in a container about this big. I color them. So like this year, you can make yours white, right? Like for 2021, they could all be white. So what I do with that, so then mine are colored green from this year. There's a couple products, I have stuff from last year. So I know, like Poppy Please lipstick, I don't sell much, and I haven't been selling lipstick, right? As much. So I'm not going to order anymore. When I go to like do my order, if I only have 1 Poppy Please left, but it has a sticker from last year, I'm not going to order an extra one, because I like to have 2 of every product at minimum, right? Not every product, let me restate that, of most products. Like foundation colors, I don't have 2 of everything. But if I have a product that I have from 2 years ago or like a year ago, right? It's still good. We have a 3-year shelf life, so you can still sell it. But if it has a sticker that has like blue on it, I don't order anymore. And then I might think, okay, how can I sell that product? I need to turn that over, right? How can I need to demo that, send that color out for somebody to try, something like that. So this is how I do that. Now, when you do skincare sets, I have my skincare sets on a shelf. I showed Marcia today. I have them on a shelf and I have them like front to back, right? So I pull from the front. If anyone, FIFO, LIFO, what, anybody done accounting, right? First in, first out, right? That's FIFO, right? So I put anything new I buy, I put behind it. So my makeup removers, I keep them in a little spot. When I get my new ones, I put them behind and I pull from the front. Now, where this doesn't work is my mascaras. is a perfect example. Eyebrow pencils. I have my mascaras in a drawer, right? And I have like 10 of them in there. Well, if I ordered some new ones and stuck them in underneath, I might grab them, or I might all of a sudden mix them up, or if I have them in my travel case, which is upright, I might grab one out. Then I go replace it with the new one. I might grab the same one in and out every time because they're not really organized like they are with the skincare. So that is where this sticker is super important. Any product that you're like, you might grab it and go and not even notice where you grabbed it from. So I put the sticker on my things, like I put it on everything. I put it on hands down on every single product I get. Period. Doesn't matter. I do every single product except for the section 2. But it keeps track of that inventory for me so that I know that some of my stuff is sitting in a box and I look at the top and I can grab, if there's any from last year, I grab that first. Or sometimes I'll even do 6 months, right? I'll do a 6-month shift on my products as well. Usually I do a year, but I can, like, maybe I'll color code the stickers more the second half of the year and be like, okay, these are my second half of the year products. But they usually turn over enough, but come January when I start ordering, I'm going to make the sticker red this year, right? So then I'm like, oh, I'm looking for the green sticker, use that first, and then the red sticker. So that is super important to just keep track of your products so you don't accidentally use the same one, grab the same one over and over and over, okay? Like with some products, it's not really an issue, but other products, it can be that. The other thing to keep track of on your products, the acne line and the Time-Wise, that anything that has sunscreen in it has about 1.5 years shelf life from when you get it. So you want to watch that too. So that you might say, okay, I'm gonna like, I always try to have 3 to 4 acne sets on hand, but I'll sell parts out of it. It's cheaper as well to buy it as a set, right? And then to sell individually out of the set. I don't know how you would manage that tax-wise. So at the end of I just count my sets that I have, and any individual products is what I wind up doing. Okay, so that's what you want to do with your inventory. Okay, so now let's talk about expenses. We're going to go backwards. Expenses. This is where you really do need to check with your tax person, but things that are expenses or any expenses that's related to your business. Okay, an easy one obviously is postage, right? Postage is an office expense. If you buy paper, if you buy labels, if you buy, so I put all that under my own business expenses, right? Or my Mary Kay business expenses, because honestly, I don't send much out that needs labels that isn't, Mary Kay. Envelopes, all my padded envelopes, these all are for, I don't mail other stuff out, right? So I'm mailing out stuff that's Mary Kay related in these envelopes. Things like if you buy a computer, if you need to buy a new computer, that would be something that you could write. That's where you need to kind of check with the tax person or read up on that, because it would be deemed, that would be a depreciable asset, and that would go under what percentage you're using up for your office and what you're using it for. So again, yes, I need a computer for my family, but 80% of my computer is for work, right? 20% is for my family. Same with your phone, things like that. Other expenses, if you go out to eat with somebody and it's a business meeting, right? If you go out for a career talk, we used to do our career talks in person. We go out for coffee. Like Anna, when I bought you coffee when we went out, that is a business expense. I can put it on my Mary Kay credit card or my Mary Kay debit card, or keep the receipt. And that's where it helps to have your things separated. Have a debit card or a business card so that you're using those things separately and not intermixing them. And you do want to keep your receipts. Now, that again is a question for the tax person at what dollar value. When they're smaller receipts, you actually don't need to have them, but for your best interest, it's easiest to keep all your receipts. If they're online, just put them. I have a folder on my thing that says taxes and receipts, and I stick all my anything I bought online, right, for Mary Kay. I put that into that folder. So Katie just said food is 50% expense. Correct. I think that's right. But when you put it into TurboTax, you put in the whole dollar value of what you spent on your food, and it will calculate it at 50%. that's-
What's, I mean, food?
Oh, so you can't write off like your, say when we go to seminar and we buy dinner,
Mm-hmm.
they say, well, you're buying dinner for yourself. You would have bought dinner some way or another for yourself, right? Or you might have, maybe you ate at home, but so they don't let you write off 100% of that dinner. Now, if I am hosting a party for all of you guys to come over and I am doing a party and buying food specifically for that party, that is more under like an event or something like that. Where the
Okay,
food write-off is going to be at 100%. I think they have it. I didn't use TurboTax last year, so I can't remember what we did. I think they have 100% and a 50% option on food. So what I would highly recommend if you use TurboTax normally or something like that, go through, especially if you're new, and do it this year as like, do it full on as a Mary Kay Beauty Consultant, even if you only sold $33 this year, right? Because it's going to help you identify all those expenses for the future.
okay.
So other expenses, I have this little not cheat sheet, but other thing that I got a long time ago. Other things you want to think about, any bank charges, credit card fees. If you have a specific Mary Kay credit card and has an annual fee, you can write off. If you use Zoom, right? The only reason I have a Zoom account that is more than 40 minutes is for my Mary Kay business, right? The only other person I talk to that's not Mary Kay related on Zoom would be potentially my sister, and I use WhatsApp, right? So I can write off that $15 a month. Canva, if I use Canva and pay for Canva, I can write that off. If I have that texting program that I use to text you guys on, that I write off. Any other subscriptions, things like that, you can write off that you would use. We have that pink bubble, and most of you guys just pay $10 a year for that. We write that off as well. Labor, if you happen to hire somebody to do something for you. Now, technically, when I hire my child, I should technically pay her, because I can say, Bella, you have to do this, and I should pay her out of my Mary Kay account and then do a 1099 if she makes more than $600 and pay her, because then I can take that as a deduction. I haven't, so I don't deduct it, right? Because I haven't recorded it, but you can do that if you hire an office person to help you. And Michelle, if it is your 10-year-old child and he is in charge of unpacking the box and sticking the sticker on it, you can pay him for that, right? And do that. Or you just pay him out of your pocket, but you can, right? I really need my glasses to read this thing. So, and sometimes like some of us as directors, like I have an office assistant, Anna, I pay her. We have different things that we use, different programs that we use our office expenses with. And this is where, when we talk about the 40-60 split, that
Yeah.
by making 50% on your sale, my glasses are crooked. You're making 50% on your sale, but technically you want to think about that profit margin is 10% of that money is going towards your sales aids and running your business. So you're actually making 40%, right? Is what we want to think about. Other thing, your personal website, the first year it's free. After that is $30 a year. Let's see. Postage, right? We got that. Demo products, we'll talk about that in a second. Any advertising you do, part of your telephone. Oh, okay. We talked about equipment, any equipment. If you happen to redo your office, you can write off a portion of that off your taxes. Again, that's a good one to ask for your tax guy. Any insurance, if you happen to buy insurance on your Mary Kay products, if you have a substantial inventory, you should have insurance, and you can get that through Mary Kay. And any training. So when we do our fall advance, our January jump, our February roundup, career conference, all of those things are expensive. Let's see, you get a hotel, any airfare, car rental, those are pretty obvious ones, right? Okay, so those are basically your training, your expenses, anything that is associated with your business. Okay, one thing that we didn't talk about yet is your mileage on your car. Now, there are mileage trackers that you can get for free. You just have to start and stop, and you can put in your mileage. So Anna, when you drive to Boeing and Carmela has ordered a lip gloss for, you know, $12, $15, and you deliver it to her at the office, you can write that off on your taxes, that mileage to the office and back. If you drive to the office, but say you stop at your friend's office and she lives like half a mile shy of Boeing, right? You can only write off the mileage to the half a mile shy and back home. But you can still write that off. So if you go to work and you're delivering product, you can write that off on your taxes. Mileage is a huge deduction. So Marcia, sorry about that, but you can write off anytime you take the bus to go anywhere. You can write that off on your taxes, right? Or if you use an Uber for something, you can write that off on your taxes.
Okay, good.
So that's that is super. Mileage is huge. I would write off like $8,000 of profit when I was. Now I'm not driving. I don't have that as a write-off. I have postage instead. But the mileage is actually better because it's free, right? I would drive to Bella to archery, and I have a customer that literally lives like an eighth of a mile from the archery range. If I drop something off at our house, I can write all that whole 20. It's 50 miles there and back. I can
Good.
write that all off on my taxes, right? Or if Bella delivers the product for me, I can still write it off on my taxes. So you want to keep track of your mileage. Now you don't need to keep track of how much gas you use or like insurance or repairs or anything like that if you do the mileage. So if you're doing mileage, when you go to put that into TurboTax, it will figure out how much of a deduction you get off of that. Okay. All right. So the other thing now you want to think about, we talked about kind of expenses. You want to keep track of your demo products and your personal products. So honestly, the easiest way to do this, these are the old ones, but your sales ticket. Okay, you guys all have I still use the old sales tickets, but the easiest thing to do is literally write it on your sales ticket. So every time that you use something for demo, I'll give you another option, or for yourself, write a sales ticket. Every time you sell something to yourself, either put it into your system or write a sales ticket so that you know, like, I'm using the repair lifting serum. I'm like, look it out, it's for myself. Write it as a sale item. That way you can keep track of items that came out of your inventory for personal use. So you can do that on when you're tracking it in TurboTax. The other then is if you have a product that is used into a demo. So what I do for that is I learned this 9.5 years ago. So when you got your starter kit, your mirrors, if I taught you this, Rochelle, too, your mirrors came in a little mesh bag, right? So Marcia, you probably haven't pulled the mirrors out yet, but when you do, there's a little mesh bag that it came in. I take the box, I rip off the top, and I stick it in the bag, and there's a sticker in there that says 2021. So at the end of the year, I just pull that out and I go, that's all the products that I use for demo. I ripped off the box top, stuck it in there, and I just total that up. That's how I keep track of what items I use for demo. Super simple. That way, like if I'm at a party and someone's like, I want to try that lipstick, and I grab it from my inventory, rip the top off, stick it in my little case, off I go. I don't have to worry about, oh, did I record it? Did I not? I just keep it. I told my cleaning lady, I'm like, if you see a box top, don't throw it away. That is important. Because honest to God, if I was to wander around my house, I'd probably like five or 10 of these just laying around in various places. So this is what Molly taught me the very first party. Grab your box top, put it in a bag, then you know what the item is, and you just total up right along with the inventory. I literally do the same thing. I just total up everything I have and keep track of it. So that's how I keep track of what I've done for my product demo.
So do you put the sticker, the annual sticker on the box top so you know where what year the demo was coming out of?
No, no, what I do is each year I just keep them for the 1 year. So every year I have one of those baggies, just put them in there. I literally take a sticky note, and write 2021 on it. Then at the
Okay.
end of the year, I just total it all up. And downstairs where my product was, when I showed you that, there's one of those little bags sitting there, and I just throw the lids in there every time. And then
Got
I
it.
just- Or if it's a eyeshadow, I put in the whole container, right? And I just do that. And that way it makes it super easy. At the end of the year, I just total it up and then I'm done. Okay. So that's your expenses. Now your income. There's a couple ways to keep track of your income.
Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
If you use the Mary Kay app to track all of your inventory, when the box comes in, you can scan it with your app and it loads all your inventory into the app. You can also set up customers in your app. You could call it demo products and personal products with your first name. So every time you use a demo product, just like writing a slip, you can charge your demo product person for that product. So even if you collect them all in that little bag and you decide like every month you want to clean out the bag and put it in your demo product person file, you can do that.
And you know what? Katie is 100% right. You should do what Katie just said, because you guys should be keeping track of your inventory as it comes in. I don't, because when that program came out, I hadn't done it, right? And I had all this inventory. It would take me hours, but it would be worth my time to at least do my eyeshadows and my lipsticks and my eyeliners and things like that, or my lip glosses, right? Because what happens now, you guys, is I literally go look at my lip glosses and I get my catalog. It's a huge, if Sue heard me say this, she'd shoot me, right? I get my catalog, I look at all the lip glosses and I check it off and go, oh, I need 2 Fancy Nancy's. That's what I do. I'll do that like every other month, right? That's a waste of my time. If I have my inventory app, I can look at it and go, oh, look, I have 0 Fancy Nancy's. Oh, shoot, I better order 2, right? So it would be worth my time of doing that. And then when you pull it out for demo, if you do exactly like Katie said, if you still, maybe you're ripping off the box top because you're like, I don't have time to do it because I'm right in the middle of a party, save the box top. And when you can, once you put it in under demo, the demo person, then it comes out of your inventory. You know how much went to demo and it's all there at the end of the year, all good for you, all good to go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So do what Katie said, not what I said.
What else did Katie say? She said our demos and something else.
Personal
So
use.
personal use. So
Oh,
you'll want to
use.
put your name in as a customer as well,
Okay.
so that you charge yourself when you use products, so that you know that you have zeroed it out of your inventory. You've charged yourself 0 because you already paid for it, but it comes out of your inventory.
Yeah. And so then you can look at it and go, I did $500 for myself. Because when you're
Okay.
thinking about your personal inventory, you need to be using 100% Mary Kay products, unless for some reason you absolutely could not use that. Like say you use, I don't know, say like the eyeshadow and you're like, not eyeshadow, like the eyeliner. And you're like, I can't use any of the eyeliners. My eyes run and whatever. Other than that, you should be using only Mary Kay products, right? Your lipsticks, your foundation, your body lotions, anything that you can possibly buy from Mary Kay, you should be using from Mary Kay. You will sell more that way, right? And you're only paying half price. So instead of paying $15 at the mall for a mascara, you're only paying $7.50. Oh, look, Michelle's got her packing slips there.
Yeah, do I have to say, I mean, it says at the bottom, retain this form for tax reporting purposes. I mean, I thought it had the QR code like Katie was talking about, because I think that's on the bottom
top.
that you
Yeah.
scan, yes. But this also, do we need to save this?
Technically you do, but once we get that income advisory statement, I did in the beginning, and then I'm like, why am I saving these? So I don't think I need to necessarily, even though it is proof that you purchased the product
Yeah.
and proof of how much you paid in shipping and how much you paid in section 2. So technically, it says on there, technically you
Yeah.
should do that.
Scan it
Okay.
in if you don't want to keep the paper.
Oh, yeah, you can scan it in if you don't want to keep the paper. That's
That's
a
a
great
good
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you can scan anything in. So, because those are all expenses as well. So
Is
with your,
Product that we have to buy that we have to wear, is that considered an expense too?
no, that's called like you're purchasing it from yourself at half price.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, it's technically a sale to yourself.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. You just don't make any profit on your own sales, right? Because you're selling it to yourself at half price. Unless you want to buy it from yourself at full price. But then you're having to pay tax on that money, so you don't want to do that. Yeah, but you think about all the products that you use yourself, and even like the hand soap, right? We've got 5 or 6 things. You got 5 or 6 hand soaps, right? You don't go out and buy a hand soap from somewhere else when you've got it in your own inventory. You will sell more when you use the product. So make sure you're just, and Marcia and Anna, you guys are new. You know, don't go throw out all your old stuff. I mean, yes, throw all your old stuff out, but anytime you need something new, switch to Mary Kay, right? That's what I did. I started just switching all my products to Mary Kay products, right? And then eventually, Yeah.
That's technically what's happening right now. Like slowly but surely, I'm just putting the list. Like, okay, I'm running out of the body lotion. All right,
Yep.
that's what I'm going to buy. Yeah, that definitely slowly changes. I'm waiting
Yeah.
when my family will start. Like, really? Now we have a hand soap, Mary Kay?
you're like, yep, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so if you go through my house, you'll find only Mary Kay products. The kids use Mary Kay products when they use them. Brian uses Mary Kay products. Until we have a lavender soap, he's the only one that gets to use any other soap than what we have because he likes lavender a lot.
Okay.
We don't have a lavender soap. So I will buy him a lavender soap for Christmas once in a while. But other than that, everything else is Mary Kay. So, okay, so income. Income is probably the easiest thing to keep track of. It's any money that you get from a sale, right? So I was going to show you, there's one main way to do this, and that is through using the website. This is something I do. I'll show you this, super simple. I know I've sent it to Annie, a modified version of this. Okay,
Oh,
This
I have
was-
a quick question on our last subject.
yeah,
If it's not
go
a
ahead.
demo product and it's not a personal product, but it's product that you gave to family for Christmas, so you've only paid, you've paid $0 for them from a sales standpoint. Do you still want to put it under like Mom Ireland so that I know that I gave her that product at
yeah. If you gave it as a
zero
gift,
cost?
if you gave it as a gift, like an actual gift, then that would be like a sale to yourself that you're giving to somebody else, right? But if you give it as a gift, as a hostess credit or something like that, that is different. That's a different kind of gift. So you do want to keep track, and I'll show you this in a second. You do want to keep, so yeah, where you're giving it as an actual Christmas present to somebody, that would be like a sale to yourself at the $0 profit, right? That you
Okay.
bought it from yourself at the wholesale price, like that, versus a gift that is a hostess credit or something like that. Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a second. So
Okay.
just, if you just look at this, this is something super, super simple that I do. Like I do this with this keeps me in track for what I'm doing each month. And it keeps me on track for, gives me what's really fun. And I'm sure you can do this on the Mary Kay thing too. It gives me my average sale. I can look up and see how many items I sold in a year, how many transactions I did a year, and my average transaction. Like my average transaction, I think is like, for a while it was $69 or $68 through the course of the year. Then it's up to more like $80 now for my average transaction. So literally I put the person's name, there's Karen, the day she purchased it, how much she purchased. She purchased $141, but she got $42 off. I don't know why, but she did, right? And these are all the people that got something off, right? And then that's actually what I collected is the $99. So then at the end of the month, I total up what I sold. And then at the very top of the spreadsheet, I have January through December 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, right? Each month. So I can track what I did each month really quickly and easily. And I can like go, okay, last year that month was a little low. I need to change something to make that month a little higher. So, and I know when I have my best November ever, right? Or whatever. So it's a super easy way and it takes no time at all. And if I'm trying to track my stuff for the week and I don't have time to put it into my system, then I can pull it up super fast here. So I do this, it makes it easy. I put little notes in here once in a while too, like these people were all at Rebecca's party or Regina's party, right? So that I kind of go, oh, who was that person again? And I'm like, oh yeah, she was from Regina's party. I also put in here, this spreadsheet is like my master everything. Even have my fitness class in here. I scheduled parties and you can see I started this way back then and I had more details in here. But then I stopped doing it. The most important thing about this document, super easy. Darla had a party. These are the people who came to Darla's party. Okay, that's super important because I'm gonna go, okay, where did, like Beth had a party. She had Beth, Julie, Sharon, Angela, and Stacy, right? So now, because sometimes you forget where you met people and you put them back to the party and it's so much easier, like, oh, that was that person's party. But I really got off track and I stopped doing it, right? Like it says 2020. I've had parties in 2021 and I haven't written any of them down. So I don't do that, right? And like Janice, I know she had more than Susanna, but I'm like, oh shoot. But this is good, like this Connie gal, she bought something. I'm like, who the heck is Connie Weibel? Now I know, she came from Darcy's party. I'm like, whew, okay? Because otherwise I don't know. And so it's really helpful to do this on the parties. Okay, let me unshare for a second. This is a lot, and Marcia, this is a lot of stuff for you, and Anna, it's a lot for you. So you can go back and watch this recording again. So now what I'm going to show you is what's called, hold on, I pulled it up and then I had to go away from it. So give me a second. Okay, let me share my screen again. So this is how you technically want to keep track of your information. It takes care of everything and it tracks everything. So if I go to my InTouch page, okay, and I go to business tools and down at the bottom is weekly accomplishments, okay? And then there's something called the WASP, the weekly accomplishment spreadsheet reports, right? What does it stand for? Okay, so that's Katie Island. Is this, no, this, okay, let me go back. Oh, this is what you did, hold on. So I go to enter week, I have different stuff on there, right? Okay, so I can see that in this week I have sold nothing. Now that's not true, I just haven't put it in the computer. So let's go back a couple weeks, okay? So go back a couple weeks. These are orders that went in. These are orders that went in through the company because I haven't put my other orders in yet. So what you see here is here's Kristen Roger. These are all things they automatically feed in based on the date that I put in their order, right? And it doesn't necessarily matter. It just needs to be the right year, technically, right? And I can put down if it was a party, like how many hours it took, how many guests, the orders, numbers of bookings I got it. I don't use this, Katie. Katie, what does SCS stand for? Skincare sets sold. The sales less the tax. So you're not including the tax. So there was $84 sale. So this one was what I call like an on the go, or it'd be as a reorder, right? Okay, so then I would put down my sales tax, $8.40. Here I would put in a hostess gift. So if I gave her a gift, or if I gave her a giveaway, I could put that in there. Okay, So I could put in, I gave her $20 away. Now, non-recovered sales tax. Okay. So if I gave her $20 of product for free, I already paid the sales tax, right? When I purchased it from the company, I paid the sales tax. So I want to record my $2 of unrecorded sales tax. Okay. And then I hit add. And then it puts it into the bottom part. So then what you can go do is go to year-to-date summary, and you can see, I would have to go back through all of my months because I don't do this part of it. But I can see that year-to-date, I've sold $84. And then I can export this report into Excel. Hold on, it should open up. Open. Well, it's not opening. There it is. No, that's not it. Okay. So now it gives me my report, right? That says my year-to-date totals were sales, $84, right? And from reorders, and then my giveaway was $20. Okay, so then, and it's in this Excel spreadsheet, so you can modify things, not modify things, but you can add things up and stuff like that. So probably it would give, it gives you that information that you need
It's
on your,
not showing on the screen, Gretchen, just so you know.
oh, what's it showing?
Oh, now it is.
Now it
Oh.
is. Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, so it gives me my year-to-date total, right? So I exported it into Excel and it gives me my year-to-date totals. It only has the one row because I didn't put anything else in. Okay. So using that, then you have all those numbers totaled up. And Katie, you use yours. And Annie, you do it some of the time. But Katie, you do it every time, right? I don't know if you do it every week, but you do it. You'll do it.
Almost every week, yeah. And if I miss
Yeah.
it, I go back. I try
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And if you miss it, you can go back. Like if I went back to like mid-October, early November, I will have like $10,000 in sales because my office assistant put them all in the same day because I gave her a huge, massive stack on the same day. And I didn't say put it in on different days. So that keeps track of your income. And then it keeps track of your expenses associated with any party or reorder or sale, right? So those are expenses as well, but they categorize different than a regular business expense. They'll go under like things, and when you use TurboTax, it asks you anything that you gave away or anything like that, gifts. Gifts are different than like hostess credits, right? If you don't want to say, if you want to watch for gifts, because gifts are things like me giving you guys a $25 gift card. That's a gift. Or me giving you a Christmas present. Actually, that wouldn't be a gift. If that's a prize, that's different. Me giving you a Christmas present and mailing you a Christmas present, that's a gift. Okay, that's actually a gift. The other things are hostess credit. Those are actually business expenses versus a gift, which is still a business expense, but you're limited on how big of a gift you can give, tax-wise. So, okay. That was a lot tonight. You can go back and watch this again. And you can call me and talk to me about this. I would highly recommend just getting TurboTax and literally setting up an account for yourself and do a dummy one first, because you can have more than one in the same program for the year, right? So set up a fake one first, or for Rochelle, Anna, and Marcia, just do it, right? Because as you do it, you'll be like, oh, I spent this, and that's it, right? It's so easy your first time that it would be great to do it through with TurboTax, because then when you get done, you're like, oh, I need to keep track of this, and this. And what you'll find are I use Quicken, and I used to itemize all of our family stuff, and I'm like, I don't need to do that. I just itemize my Mary Kay stuff. Now, what you need to pay attention to is, so like your money coming in, it doesn't matter where it comes in, check, credit card, Venmo, ProPay, it doesn't matter. It just goes in as income. Now, the trick with the expenses is there's a lot of ways that money goes out, right? So my income comes in and I record it on this piece of paper or directly into InTouch. But 99% of the time it's on a piece of paper for me and then goes into InTouch. Really doesn't matter if it's on InTouch or on paper. If it's in InTouch, it's good. That's your reporting system that works. But it doesn't matter how the money comes in. Now, the money going out, I pay people for expenses through Venmo. I pay people on my credit card. I pay people through PayPal, not very often on PayPal, but occasionally I have some expenses on PayPal. I pay people through my debit card, right? So that's 4 different sources. People are like, hey, do you take Cash App or Google Pay? I'm like, no, I don't want any more options to pay me. PayPal and Venmo are my only 2 options besides a credit card or cash or check to pay me, right? So, because what I do with things that are going out, my outflows, I go back to Venmo and I categorize everything. So I know how much I spent going out through Venmo on what the different things were, because it tells me where I spent it. So that's my itemization of what I spent. My credit card, same thing. At the end of the year, you can download your credit card into Quicken or into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can sort it and go, okay, I spent, $100 on Starbucks. I spent $50 on office supplies, and I spent $50 on postage. So pay attention to that on how you're managing your outflow money. The easiest thing to do is just keep track of your receipts. So you have all that. Yes, Katie.
Does ProPay do a similar report?
ProPay does a similar report. You could have a gun to my head and it would still take me half an hour to find that report and print it out. I swear to God, I'm like, where is that report? You can download each month, but there is something in ProPay we can do 3 months at a time. Once I find it, I go back and I'm like, okay, I've got the whole year now in there. So I literally go in and I download 3 months at a time into an Excel spreadsheet. So I have that. So I know what money is going in and what money is going out, right? I don't do as much via ProPay anymore, money going out, but sometimes I send money to you guys, right? Going out for whatever reason, if it's product or if it's, something that you bought like for something and I'm paying you back, right? But Venmo has that same thing. I just go into Venmo and I download the report. I go into PayPal, I download the report, do that as well. If you use Venmo, Marcia and I were talking about this earlier today, make sure you have both your personal checking account and your business checking account associated with it. So that if you pay somebody something, like you're paying your girlfriend for dinner, you don't want it coming out of what I do whenever I do that, if I have to pay somebody, I zero out, transfer all the money, put it into my Mary Kay money, right? Any of my Mary Kay money, put it into mine. Then when I do a personal thing, it's coming out and pulls directly out of my personal checking account. Does that make sense? Because if there's cash in there, it will use that cash. It will use my Mary Kay cash to pay for Bella going to archery, right? So I want to make sure that I'm not cross-populating that money, right? I want only Mary Kay expenses to go to Mary Kay money to go to Mary Kay, family money to go to family. So that's why you do need to have 2 checking accounts. If you don't, you make sure you get a free checking account. You don't need to get a paid checking account, but get a free checking account so that all your money goes separate. It keeps life so much easier, so much easier. I tried really hard.
PayPal and I think Venmo as well now do have business accounts if you don't want to cross-pollinate. I don't know if there's a charge for it though.
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, they do charge. Yeah, they do charge. But you can have, I literally have both of my Mary Kay and our family checking account associated with the same Venmo. And it just gives me an option. There's a little slider thing. Which account do I want it to come from? But only if the account's at 0. So if you still have money in there, you've got to transfer it out, which happens instantly. And then you can do the transaction, have it go from your family money. Or you can have 2 Venmos as well, if you wanted to do that too. But I'm the only one that uses that Venmo. My husband doesn't use it, right? So I know that nobody pays me personal stuff on Venmo very often. Like I guess maybe if I was going out to dinner with people more, they would, but that hasn't been happening since I've been using Venmo, so. All right, other questions? I know it's a ton of stuff and we went way over, but this is like probably the most important training of the year, right? Of stuff that you need to learn. Questions? Thoughts? No question.
I have a question about how everybody is kind of managing their time to run their business. Like if you are really in it full time, or how do you kind of modulate what it is that you're going to do like week by week to make sure that you're investing the kind of time that you want to invest?
Yeah, that is a great question, Marcia. That's a whole nother training and a whole nother discussion.
Oh, okay.
But we can do that. That's something we could do like next week or something. But let me, yeah. So what you're talking about is what's called a weekly plan sheet. And we can go over how to use that and how to do that. And we have lots of training on that. And there's lots of different things on that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a very good question. Yeah, because everyone's different. Like Katie, Anna, and Rochelle have full-time jobs. Annie's a teacher, she's full-time job, but Annie's also had times where she hasn't been full-time teaching. So these guys are all full-time. I started my business part-time, Mary Kay, and moved it to full-time, you know, all that. But yeah, we can talk through that. And that's a good individual conversation too, as well.
Okay.
Okay, any more tax, year-end, money, income, expenses, questions?
They will come.
Yeah, they will come. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.